demo to show you. And then my talk is based on reduce stress, automate with Python and Xmpp. So many of the things I'm doing all have a URL. You can check them out. But then as soon as I get down later in the day, I would have to commit this code to a repository. My repository is at this handle, iChooks. I've not really done much. I just have 4 repositories, but then I would increase them as time goes on. Our first speaker, discussed about open source, and this is an open source thing. Thank you everyone for coming and then sitting and listening quietly. So, questions would be, what is XMPP? I'm taking this from xmpp.org/about. It's an extensible messaging and presence protocol. What does it mean? Every one of you use XMPP and you know XMPP well. If you ever use WhatsApp, that's the technology they communicate with. But then their own technology has gone to the binary format. The natural XMPP is very data intensive. It shuffles down XML to and fro. So we'll be checking out the normal data shuffling to and fro. So how can you use XMPP to work? If you go to online, I saw someone wearing a shirt. I don't want to name them so that I wouldn't look like an advert. They have to deal with money. I think they picked that name from a Nigerian language, something.ai. They have a Facebook bot, so to say. And then some of those bots are extended to Telegram and Skype. So what are they doing basically? They send a message, and to the new person to the technology, it looks as if it's huge or as if it's a novel thing. Well, XMPP has been out for long, but then we are just finding uses for them in large scale now. Facebook held a Facebook challenge some months back, asking people to build on their platform. Okay, so before I go further, I work with GPay, and then we're into solutions, building financial solutions here and there. If you want to know more, you could engage me when I come down. So this is about XMPP. I don't want to take too much time because I have 25 minutes and I have 5 minutes for questions. So I will go straight to the nitty-gritty. You see, before you could have XMPP work, you actually need an XMPP server. An XMPP server is not the normal Nginx or Apache that you have. No. I have read that WhatsApp has successfully scaled a server backend to 2 million requests, I think per second or so. If a single server could handle that, and they have, assuming at a point in time, 300 million active users, you can imagine the amount of servers they have. Everything boils down to this technology. And the technology is what you use in many places. You could put it to your dashboard. You need up-to-the-minute information as things are hitting your database. If you go to Postgres, Postgres has a way of notifying those who are connected to it. But then XMPP has had this for a while now. That's what we're focusing on. So I'm not saying there are those that don't have it. And then there's also the WebSockets. Yes, I'd like to mention that. WebSockets, a lot of people are using it. Taxify. I know Taxify uses WebSockets. I don't know about Uber, I've never used them. But we're talking about XMPP. Okay, so I do not have a slide. What I have are my terminals for me to show you what is happening. Then I would explain my code and then encourage you on how to make things happen. There is a part of my code that I'll be showing you that is dynamic. When I say dynamic, I mean it doesn't know what you would throw to it. As it comes, it handles it. Fine. I didn't finish up the error handling part. But for our demo purposes, it will serve us very well. The server that I'm using, Xmpp server, is prosody. Okay, so I would explain to you. This is a command, and this command, I'm running it in my virtual box. I have many of them spawned up, so the prosody is running presently. I'm running it on my local host on port 151. It's not something you can access. It's domiciled in my system. So I access the shell. If you look up here, the lettering will be tiny. If you look clearly, you could see 192.168.56.51. So what I'm saying is, if you need to demo this, you have two options. You run a virtual machine on your system, or you do it online. Okay, so for our demo purpose, what I'm doing is, I want to see everything that is coming into the prosody server as we are working real time. So this command is a Linux command that says, hey guy, as soon as those things are coming out, be showing them to me. I want to see what's happening. So I will start the server, and then that's it. The server is up and running and waiting for requests for everyone to be connected. Majorly, if anybody is doing anything that has to be related with chat, they probably should be looking at this. But then there are other technologies now, so I'm not here to argue about those technologies. Having done that, the next thing I'd like to do is to activate my virtual environment. Please hold on for a while. Okay, so I've activated my virtual environment, and then if I run a pip freeze on it, okay, so this is huge. I do not think that's the virtual environment. Sorry, please, I'd like to check something out. So I've done what I need to do. I'm in this directory. That's where my code is domiciled. And then I've activated a virtual environment I created. And then when I do pip freeze, I would see the things that I've activated in that environment to use, but I'm not using all this for now. So we are on to our demo, and I think I need to increase this too. I don't know how to do this. My code is not showing clearly, is it? Okay, so now this is the meat of the code. And then I will explain what this is doing. But before I do that, my Xmpp server is running. Let's not forget that. It's already running here. So I need to start up the server that would be communicating with the Xmpp server. Then I would communicate with that equally. I will show you as we move along. So I run Python. This is just a very small demo. Okay, so the EchoBot is up and running, and as it's running, it's communicating with the Xmpp server itself, and both of them are talking. I can only show one screen at a time. So you can basically use anything. At this point, I could connect to my system with anybody from the network on my system. You use your phone, and then we talk together. It's a very secure technology, and that's why I advise that you should try to look into it. So, knowing fully well that the EchoBot, that's the name, is up and running, I want to start sending requests, and then to send those requests, I would show you a demo of how I came about this. I'm using the server called Adium. And then, as soon as Adium comes on, you could use anything basically. I want to chat with the bot itself. But before then, I would alter the code such that if the data hits the server would give me back what I gave to it, plus including a timestamp in UTC. So to be able to do this, I would have to tell it where that server's IP is, and it's domiciled as it's to talk to bot at 192.168.56.151. And immediately I do that, it will be ready to accept displays. But then, like I said, I want to switch off a part for now. That froze temporarily, so I had to bring it up. So right now, if I give this guy a command, I'm sure the lettering is tiny. Okay. I don't know how to increase the font size of this. Okay. I could do 24. I was not able to increase it. Did you see what happened here at this interface? The software I'm using is known as Adium. It's online, it's free, it's open source. This is for Mac. There are others for other operating systems. You would always find them. On your Mac, you can also use, I think, Messages. Yes, Messages. You can use this. It's inbuilt into Mac by default. And then on your mobile apps, you could also download free open source or free app online to use to test this, basically while you are communicating. So what's the essence of this? We're talking about using Xmpp to write bots that can make your life easy. If you're able to do this, that means you're not tied into anybody's platform. And I will tell you a very little story. Years ago, a company, I wouldn't name them, started something, and then they got almost everybody using that product, including me. And then, halfway, they pulled that product. Apologies to no one. And then, you are forced to fall in line with whatever they're giving to you, or you go out of extinction. That's why I'm usually jittery when companies are introducing a program or a software, and they are pushing it head on, hard on, this competition, that competition. They want people to build products of their platform. When they've gotten a lot of people involved, they now decide to do what they intended to do. So I decided that since Xmpp is the technology that many of them ride on, so I do it the Xmpp way. That's what we are learning. So you can actually chat, automate, do anything real time with your Xmpp. Maybe near real time anyway. So how small is this lettering, please? I'm trying every command I know. It's not just working, but I'm sorry. So what happened is there is a bot I registered with. I registered with admin. So at the server, one called, if you look at this place now, here on this line, you would see the request was coming in from admin at so-and-so address / he gave it a name at the end, Xmpp. And then it was actually interacting with bot on my virtual box. The bot is at the server. I am using a GUI called Adium. You can use anything to interact with it. So this is just very simple. If you go to the site of Sleek Xmpp Quick Start, you will find this there. It's nothing huge really. You will find this example there. But then how do you make it do your bidding? So I have a repo online. That repository is iChooks /bots. That's on GitHub. I made some headless browsers, Selenium being the one that is pulling them. Apart from Phantom.js, by default, and Firefox are not headless. When I mean headless, I mean if you are trying to scrape something, you see them show. But then, and now built a library around it that could help you to make both of them headless. They exist, I only pull them together. That's what this /bot discusses, so you could check it out. With this, you could be able to automate many things. I don't know if the internet is working fine. Some things, there is a directory in it called examples. You would find enough examples, and I used pycon.ng, and then I use one other site outside that I don't want to name their names. You would find a lot of things that you could do with it. Okay, so there was something I commented out in EchoBot the other time. I'm back to running it, and then I will explain how it works. So I made something that is dynamic. This time around, I would send a message to the bot, and the bot would do something out of it, and this is what I'm sending to the bot, to the server. It's a JSON. It has a begin, and it has an argument. So inside that begin is a location, and then a function name. There are arguments. So what happens basically? Let's see a demo. When I send this to Adium, okay, that actually came out. It gave me this response. I sent the one above to Adium, and he gave me this response. And this was what he ran, basically. He came to this file in between, and then he picked out the variable. He picked out the location. And then, knowing fully well that it's a JSON, it uses Python library, load.json, to pull the data out. And then he picks the location out from the begin part. He keeps that. Then he picks the function name. We had already sent this, the function name as defines. He picks it out, and then he picks arguments. Then he goes and then dynamically loads that library such that he can apply inputs to it, and then you could get anything that is dynamic. So I'm already getting a flag that my time is up. I would commit this code online. It was a very short time. If you need to know more about it, you could as well come to me offline too. Thank you.